blessing, Jacob is broken by God, and Jacob is blessed by God. These three areas that make up the life of Jacob. The question that we're going to answer today is this: how do we receive God's blessings through brokenness? How do we receive God's blessings through brokenness? Before I answer that question, you're probably saying to yourself, who's Jacob? Where did Jacob come from? How did Jacob even come into the Bible? Well, let me show you a little background of Jacob. You have Abraham, who was married to Sarah, and God promised them a child. Because they were way past childbearing years, Sarah was barren. They chose, Sarah said to Abraham, why don't you have a relationship with our maidservant Hagar? And he did, and because of that, they had a child named Ishmael. Well, God said to them, I promised you a child, and you chose not to wait. You chose to go and do things on your own to get blessings that are not yours. And so they waited. And after 25 years, they had a child. His child's name was Isaac. Isaac married Rebekah. And Rebekah, together with Isaac, had two children, Esau and Jacob. This is Jacob. All right? Now, it says, point number one, Jacob steals the blessing. Can you all say that? Jacob steals the blessing. After 20 years of being together, they finally have a child. Can you imagine waiting 20 years to have a child? They waited. The Bible tells us in Genesis 25, verse 23, the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb. Continue. And 2 people from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. Surprise, surprise. Rebekah, you're going to have twins. 2 boys, 2 children in you. And these will be so different from each other. They'll be separated. One will be stronger than the other. One will serve the other. Now, when she heard this, she was saying to herself, how could this be? How could this be? That's. In the next verse, it says there, how now the first came forth red, all over like a hairy garment, and they named him Esau, not Esau, huh? Esau, just make that clear. Huh? He was red, he was hairy. What was it? Was it an animal? Okay, verse 26, everyone. Afterwards,
his brother came forth with his
hand holding onto Esau's heel. So his name was called Jacob. Can you imagine? He was holding on to Esau's heel as he was coming out of the womb. It's like he wanted to be first. He wanted to be first, but he was pulling the heel of Jacob. But that, oh, great. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Esau came out first, and then Jacob came out next. And Jacob, holding the heel of Esau, he was given a name. His name is the heel grabber, supplanter, deceiver. Can you imagine? Kawawa ka naman, if that's your name. He was like a schemer, a cheater. His parents would call him all these names. Now, in Tagalog, how would you say this? Mandurugas. Ano pa? Mandaraya. Ano pa? Magulang. Diba? Magulang. Very, very parent. Ano pa? Mandurukot. Diba? Dami mang-mang, no? So, that was Jacob. So the parent says, Deceiver, come here. Can you imagine being called Deceiver? Come here. That's his name. Mandurukot, come here. Poor guy. Labeled. Now, friends, today, you might be given a name, a label by people. Don't listen to that label. Jacob had nothing to do with that name. He just given to him even before he could speak. But that's what he was called. Friends, as he grew up, that name started to affect him. He would hear it over and over again, heel grabber, supplanter, deceiver, and because of that, he became that person. He had the habit of grabbing things which did not belong to him. He was grabbing his brother Esau's blessings that did not belong to him. And this is rampant in our world today. Just like so many people today, they have this mentality, me what? Me first.
Me first.
It's all about me. People don't think about other people. It's all about themselves. This is the sin of selfishness, wanting everything for yourself. How do we put God first in a me-first world? And let me just say something. For those of you who always think about yourself, me, in the end, when you get all the things that you want, you'll be miserable. You will be miserable. Because of this, we have a pandemic of people who love selfies. You know, we need to put death to selfie. Now, I'm not saying selfie is wrong. I'm not saying don't take selfies. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you and I need to get rid of the attitude of selfishness. That's what's wrong. That's what we need to get rid of. In this me-first world, think of others. In Luke chapter 9, verse 25, it says it so clearly. For what is a man profited if he what? If he gains the whole world and loses himself, forfeits himself. What does a man gain? He gains nothing. Now, the firstborn in the Hebrew culture, in this case Esau, he was given what they call the birthright. Can you all say birthright? Birthright. What is a birthright? A birthright entitles the firstborn in the family to receive double inheritance. Okay, you know? Double inheritance. Hindi lang yan. You also get authority. When your parents pass away, you have the authority over your family. You get a blessing of prayer from the father. This is what Esau expected. But you know what? God would tell from the very beginning, he would say that although Esau is the firstborn, Jacob is the promised one. He's the promised son. And Rebekah knew that. And Rebekah would often remind Jacob, Jacob, you are the promised one, even if Esau is the firstborn. We see that here. The older will what? Serve. Who's the older? Esau. Esau will serve Jacob. You see that? Jacob knew that he was promised he would be given the birthright, but he didn't wait. You know the story. Esau is a man who loved to hunt. He loved to hunt. He was an outdoorsman. He was the favorite of Isaac, his father. In the case of Jacob, Jacob liked to stay at home. He liked to cook. He was the favorite of the mother. Parents, just a side note. If ever you have favorites in your family and you make it known to your children, it will cause problems in the future. I truly recommend don't have favorites. Don't have favorites in your family because it'll cause a lot of division and it'll devastate your family in the future. So here's Esau. He goes out and he hunts. And after hunting, he comes back and he's tired. He's tired and he's hungry. And verse 29 and 30 says, when Jacob had cooked stew, Esau came in from the field and he was what? Gutom na gutom siya, pretty famished. And Esau said to Jacob, please, let me have a swallow of that red stuff there, for I am famished. He was asking, please, I'm so hungry, give me something to eat. Now Jacob, his brother, instead of just saying, oh, you're hungry? Here, have some of my bowl of beans. No. You know what Jacob did? He manipulated. He connived. He cheated. Esau, he said, I'm going to take advantage of this. This is my opportunity. This guy's ready to die. He's going to give me his birthright. So he says to Esau, Esau, come on. I want something from you. I want something from you. This opportunity was in front of him. So he says to him, Jacob replied to Esau, first, what? Sell me your birthright. Come on, Esau, sell me your birthright. Tell me, deal or no deal? Say that lang, no? Deal or no deal? Now, Esau was so hungry, he forgot about his birthright. He says, yes, I'll sell you my birthright. You can have my birthright for a bowl of beans. And that's what happened. He ends up with a bowl of beans. It doesn't end here. Jacob did not wait for God to give him the blessing of the birthright. He went out and he took it himself. He took it himself. He did not trust God. My question to us is this. Have we ever deceived others out of what was rightfully theirs? Have we ever deceived others out of what was rightfully theirs? Every time we cheat and we lie and we scheme, manipulate, we're in fact deceiving others and taking what is theirs. You see, a lot of us have Jacob inside of us. Some of us have a little, some of us have a lot. God has promised us so many things for free. He's given us so many promises, and yet we ignore his promises. What do? Let's read this together. We scheme when God has promised us wisdom. Think about that. We worry when God has promised us peace. We steal when God has promised us provisions. We lie when God has promised us protection. We strive when God has promised us rest. You see what's happening? God has promised us wisdom, peace, provisions, protection, rest. And what do? Well, we scheme, we worry, we steal, we lie, we strive. Complete opposite. Is that what you're doing today? Are you going ahead of God? Are you choosing to take blessings for yourself and not willing to wait on Him? Genesis 27 verses 1 to 4. It says, "Now it came about when Isaac was old and his eyes were too dim to see." Continue. "That he called his older son Esau and said to him, 'Prepare a savory dish for me, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, so that my soul may bless you before I die.'" Isaac, the father of the boys, knew that his life was waning. He was about to die. He could not see anymore. And so he asked Esau, "Esau, I want to bless you. I want to pray the blessing prayer upon you. So make me that savory dish and come to me." When he said that, Rebekah, the wife, heard what he was telling Esau. And so she turns and tells Jacob, "Jacob, we better do something. We better do something right away before your brother Esau comes back. Because otherwise you won't get the birthright. You need to get it." So she schemed together with her son Jacob. It says in verse 15, Rebekah took the best garments of Esau, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and what? Put them on Jacob, her younger son. Because Esau was so different. Esau had a lot of hair, but bonche. And she wanted to make sure that when Jacob goes before Isaac, it would not be known that he's Jacob. So she puts goat skin on his arms and on his neck. Can you imagine? She's scheming to do all this. Now, let me ask you, how old do you think the boys are at this time? How old do you think they are? Teenagers? You think they're in their early 20s? 20s? Can I tell you? They are 76 years old. Yes, that same reaction. I said, how old are these guys? 76 years old. They're still living with their parents. Notice. The clothes are still in her house. Amazing, huh? Now, here is Jacob. He puts on all this goat skin on himself, and he comes to his father and says, "Father, I'm here, your son Esau. It's time to bless me." The father says, come close. I want to see, I want to hear you. Come close. And understand that this blessing is a special prayer. And this prayer, when it's given by the father to the son, it's irrevocable. It's permanent. So he comes before the son. It says here, "Then Isaac said to Jacob, 'Come near so I can touch you, my son, to know whether you are really my son, Esau, or not.'" 22, everyone? "Jacob went close to his father, Isaac, who touched him and said, 'The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau.'" So he saw and heard that there was a little difference. He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau. So he what? Proceeded to bless him. "Are you really my son, Esau?" he asked. "I am," he replied. I want you to remember this. The father Isaac asked his son, "Who are you?" And Jacob replied, "I'm Esau." Remember that. I'm Esau. Jacob connived, he lied, he cheated, he deceived his father in order to steal the blessing. That's what he did. Jacob here, he steals the blessing. The blessing belonged to his brother Esau. Now, when Esau heard about this, he couldn't believe it. My brother Jacob took my blessing. That can't be. That's not right. Even if he sold it years back, he could not believe it. He was furious. And he swore, "Jacob, I'm going to kill you. You will not see another day after our father dies." In verse 41, Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are what? Are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." Wow. When Jacob heard this, he said, "Uh-oh, I'm out of here. I'm going to run for my life because my brother is really going to kill me." And so he runs in the complete opposite direction. He runs away from his brother Esau. Today, have you guys been running away from people who have backups with you? You know what I mean? Atraso? People who have disappointed you, who have hurt you. Are you running away? That's what Jacob did. He ran away, fearing for his life. Now, brothers and sisters, the truth is we're all like Jacob. In some way or another. It's possible that you get what you want, but then when you get what you want, you don't want what you have. Just like Jacob. He got the blessing, the birthright, but yet, what good is that birthright? What good is the blessing if he's running for his life? No good for him. God cannot bless those who pretend to be what they are not. God cannot bless Jacob, who dressed with the clothes of Esau. God can't bless him. There is the me, in me, who I cannot stand. And I wish I could get rid of that me, that sinful Joby. And there's the me that I show other people, that I want them to think who I am. And this conflict is constantly in battle. Just like you. I'm sure you have a me in you that you wish was not there. And the you in you that you want others to see is something that you want people to think that's who you are. For example, ladies oftentimes wear a certain outfit because they want attention. And then when they get that attention, they realize that people are giving me attention for a person who I really am not. That's not me. And this struggle goes back and forth. Are you today wearing Esau's clothes? Because you can fool Isaac, but you can't fool yourself. You can fool your neighbor, but you can't fool God. What are you wearing? You see, God won't bless who you are not. God won't bless who you're not. God cannot save your selfie. God cannot save your mask. God cannot save your hypocrite you. God cannot save this. Jacob got the blessing, but he lost himself. What good is the blessing when he loses his own life? God won't bless who you are not. Jacob now is in his self-imposed exile. He was away from his brother and family for 20 years. Can you imagine? Where did he go? He went to his uncle, whose name is Laban. Laban. And doon kay Laban talaga, nilaban siya. He fought with Laban. In Genesis 31, verse 3, it says, Then the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. God was saying, Tama na, that's enough. Jacob, time to what? Time to go home. Can you all say go home? Time to go home. And maybe that's a message for some of you here today. God is saying to you, go home. Time to take care of unfinished business. Something that you left way back a couple of years ago that's still pending. Time to go back and fix broken relationships. Maybe that relationship happened many years ago, and you think, well, in time that person will forget and it'll just be erased. Or maybe you need to go back and fix up a broken promise. You're hoping that the person doesn't even remember the promise anymore. Or maybe a lie that you committed that you need to settle. Friends, what about an unkind word that you've said and you hope that, time has passed and sure enough, people have forgotten about it. Well, Jacob heads back. He goes back home. And on his way home, he hears, because he's bringing with him his wealth, all the things he's accumulated by grasping and grabbing and manipulating people to get, he now has. He's got livestock, hundreds of cattle and sheep and goat and camels and all these things. He's got his wives, his children with him. As he's headed back home, he hears Esau is coming to meet him. And he's thinking, Esau's here. The messengers tell him, Esau's coming, and he's bringing an army of 400 men. Jacob says, wow, we're no match for those people. I cannot, my brother Esau's out to get me. He's going to kill me. There's no way I can fight him. So what does Jacob do? True to himself, he sends a messenger back. Oh, tell Esau that I'm giving him all of these animals. And he lists a whole bunch of animals. Tell him this is for him. He's trying to buy off Esau. Instead of going to Esau with humility and begging for forgiveness, he's trying to pay him off. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so he's realizing that he has to learn things the hard way. What's the application to us, friends? When it comes to Jacob steals the blessing, the application is this verse. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. Let's read it together.
Be content.
Be content with what you have. For he has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Friends, listen to this. What you have today, hopefully, is what God has given you. And God's saying, be what? Content. Be satisfied with that. Whatever you have. Now, think about this. For he has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. That means he is with us. If God is with you, that's more than enough. What more do we need? He is with us. You don't have to go out and steal blessings. You can just be content with what God has given you. God may be telling you today, go home, settle issues of the past. He will be with you. Don't fear. He will be with you. God blesses